Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. It is time for another Some Assemblage Required video. I am using a bunch of stuff from the embellishment box, and this is an answer to the Guyentines challenge that I posted over in the Some Assemblage Required Facebook page. I thought it would be fun to do a layout starring the little guy at work that was just born right after Christmas. And so I am using the stencil, which is a stencil provided by Scrapping Reflections, and that is Sandy's shop, or State Goddess if you follow her on any social media. But she does the stencils for the box over at Some Assemblage Required. And if you don't know what the box is, it's a monthly embellishment box that MK puts together. It always has a stencil in it from Sandy, and it's got some flair from Scrap and Happy Studio. Those are the two of the people that she has teamed up with. It also has chipboard from Dusty Attic, which is an Australian company that she has teamed up with as well to provide this box. And then it's got several items that MK has curated or created herself. So I am using that stencil. I thought I was going to use it on the black. I decided not to. I decided to go with this, I call this concrete paper. I don't even know what it's, where I got it or anything. It's been in my stash for a long time, but it's kind of like a grayish concrete looking to me. And so I am going to take it and I'm going to do some mixed media on it. That bottom stencil is from the Crafters Workshop, and I borrowed that from my friend Janie while I was at a retreat. And then this stencil that I'm currently using here is from MK's embellishment box, as I mentioned before. So I'm going over that really lightly with some Distress Oxide ink in Speckled Egg. And so I went really lightly over the background randomly in that Speckled Egg color because it has the plaid paper on the right hand side has that color in it. And then I went with some walnut stain, and I used this Crafters Workshop stencil to put some more ink down and just kind of randomly grunge it up a little bit. I really like the way that this stencil works right over the other one. I really like having a subtle look in the background and then a more solid look on top. I'm going to be adding a bunch more stuff though, you guys, so there's all kinds of stuff coming on this layout. More lines, more stenciling, some lighter, some darker, and I'm really happy with the way that this actually turned out at the end of the day. I am going to also use this Stampin' Up! Stamp set, and I believe this one is called Gorgeous Grunge. I will put a link down below, or the name of it down below in case you're interested in looking it up. It is it's a retired stamp set, so I think I got mine on Etsy because I saw that MK had it and I loved it so much I went and bought it myself, and I bought it off, not Etsy, eBay, you guys. So you might be able to find it over there, but I really like the lines that it leaves, and I thought that was kind of fun. I'm going to use more of this Crafters Workshop stencil. I'm going to put the name of that one down below for you as well. And then I pulled out a Bow Bunny stamp set, and this one is just a random texture, kind of like the asphalt look. And I'm just kind of stamping that down to grunge it up a little bit using more of the walnut stain ink. And I'm not being super intentional or thorough with it because I want it to look kind of random. I don't want any edges showing, like straight lines or anything. And I don't believe this stamp has a ton of straight lines on it anyway. But I really like the way that it ends up looking. Now I'm tearing off two edges off of my plaid paper. And I want that to kind of look rough also. I don't want it to look real smooth. And I'm going to ink it up so that it has a nice dark finish to it. And I'm going to use more of that walnut stain to accomplish that. I'm really embracing the blues and the browns here. The paper also has a kind of peachy orangey line in it. So that is going to match really well with a couple of things that are in the embellishment box for February. I am completely ignoring the blanket that he is wrapped in. It has blue and pink feet on it, and I'm ignoring the pink at all cost. And luckily there's not a lot of it, so it doesn't really show up a ton, and it looks more kind of flesh toned in the photo than it does pink. So it's not like a bright pink or anything. I'm going to trim the excess of the plaid paper off that I laid down right on top. And that is something that I really enjoy the look of. I just basically put the adhesive on the two edges that I know that are going to come into the middle of the layout and lay it down, and then I can kind of peel it back and put it on the outer edge of the bottom paper so that it doesn't like curl up on the edge where the two papers are overlapping. I did pull out a stamp set from Elizabeth Craft Designs, and this is one of her kind of label or journaling type sets. I'll put a link down below for those as well. I really enjoy her label sets and her journaling sets, and so I am using some tumbled glass Distress Oxide ink to make a couple of labels that I think will work well, and I wanted that to brighten up the speckled egg just a tiny bit. I want the speckled egg to kind of fade into the background like the blue stripes on on the plaid, and I want the label to have a little bit of a brighter look to it. I am just going to fussy cut the top of this stamp piece from Elizabeth Craft Designs, and I really like it because it's kind of got that rough look or the torn edge look to it, and I'm going to tuck that in. The other thing I like about it is that it doesn't have lines on it. It's got a dot grid, so you can turn it any direction you want for your journaling. Layering those two pieces up to bring the blue a little bit more left and continue with the brown more right, and then bringing in this piece of epoxy flare from Scrap and Happy Studio. That also came in our monthly February box, as well as this acrylic piece that MK cut. So it is a design from her and from the Some Assemblage Required shop. It also comes with all of those little peachy pink hearts, and I'm super excited that she included those because if you know MK, she's not a super big heart fan. She doesn't use them herself very often. So for her to include them in the monthly box was awesome because, you know, she knows that a lot of people do use hearts and that we like them. So the chipboard pieces, those are also from the monthly box, and they are from Dusty Attic. They're called heartstrings, and I am leaving them naked. They are being left as the chipboard color because it works really well with this layout. I put one in each direction. One's going to go inside that circular peachy pink acrylic piece, and the other one is hanging at the top underneath or on top of the film strip. The film strip is also from the monthly embellishment box, and I really like the way that that looks. Now I am just using my dies to cut some leaves out and layer those up into my embellishment clusters. I did include another stamped piece behind the orange circle, or the peachy pink, peachy orange, peachy pink, I don't know. It's kind of a peachy orange color. Circle there, and that is just kind of a landing space for my leaves, and I really like how that's looking. And I'm bringing in some orange leaves and for added texture to peek out from behind the circle and go up the side of the left hand photograph. I really like the way that that's looking. I'm doing some on the opposite side as well. Or the top side, I should say, the top right, and I'm liking how that is looking. Now, I'm not going to include a title on this layout. I will probably include his name somewhere on the layout. I may add that after the fact, but for privacy purposes and such, I'm just leaving his name off of it and his face. I'm sure at some point that will all be talked about. It probably won't be a secret forever, but I just wanted to give them a little bit of privacy given he is so new. I am darkening up this piece of paper. It's more of that background piece, but I just had an offcut of it, and I just added some walnut stain over the top before I add some of these sprigs of I don't know that they're berries, but they're just more foliage. and darkening them up to give more dimension. So obviously there I'm adding some blue to some of them, and then there's some orange and some grayish and some of the darker brown in each one of those clusters. And I really like the way that this is coming together, you guys. If you have not checked out the monthly embellishment box, I would highly recommend you go and check it out. She only does a limited number of them, and once they're sold out, they're sold out. Also, she doesn't, it's not something you can subscribe to, so it's a first come, first serve kind of deal, so go and check that out. If you miss out on those, you can definitely check out the shop for other things, because she has all sorts of cool things in the shop as well. So I'm just going to tuck those in behind, and I really like the added texture that it's giving. These film strips are in the monthly embellishment box. They are from $49 in Market. If you were to buy a set of them, you get a ton of them in the set. She just gives you a random sampling, so if you're not sure if there's something that you are interested in, the box is the way to go, because you definitely get some of those as well. I'm really liking the way that this is coming together, you guys. I really love how that little chipboard piece settles right in the middle of that circle. It's making me super happy. I thought I might use those wooden hearts that are up on the right hand side. I don't end up using them. I'm going to save those for another day, but they were something that I pulled out thinking that I would use, and I ended up using a lot of the orange hearts instead. And I'm really happy with the way that it looks, because when you see the close-ups, you're going to see that there is orange stripes in that plaid paper, and they are pinstripes, so that's why it might be hard to see those on your screen, because they're pretty small. I do also want to encourage you to go and check out the Facebook page for Some Assemblage Required. She's got a monthly challenge going on. Every first Tuesday of the month we issue a challenge. Somebody on the team issues a challenge, and this month's was to make a Guyentines layout. And yes, that is not a real thing, but it is now, because we've made it up. So I know a lot of people celebrate Valentine's, and some people celebrate Galentines to celebrate their scrappy girl, or their, not scrappy, to celebrate their gal pals. And this one is to celebrate a guy, but not using any pink or red. So that is my answer today. I'm using orange, blue, and browns. Hope you enjoyed this layout, you guys. If you have questions or comments, leave them down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Bye-bye.